Welcome to another beautiful day to be reviewing some top stories lying on the lips of Nigerians and beyond Africa. Technology to science and every other news you can think of. As far as it's on your mind, it's on our lips. And on this note, I say welcome to your newspaper review on Idea Television. I'm very sure you're looking very, very good this morning. First of all, I actually wanted to say you're looking good. Then I'm very sure you had a very nice night yesterday.
Definitely, my night went well.
With the weather and everything.
We closed late for work, definitely, but rest was the next thing.
Monday is always stressful for everybody.
Stressful. Being the first day of a working day. Well,
boys, after a long weekend,
definitely, we just need to rest.
Okay, to all our viewers out there, thank you very much for staying tuned to your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah, and we'll begin with our tech news for today. The first tech news on our list is Google faces antitrust trial over online advertising monopoly. We see that Google has gone to trial with Virginia as U.S. regulators push to break up parts of its multi-billion-dollar online advertising business. The Department of Justice of several states wants the company to sell an ad exchange, which takes fee from online publishers during instant ad auctions. Regulators argue that Google control over both ad exchange and the tools used to publish has given it unlawful monopoly in digital advertising. The government says forcing to sell is the only way to restore the competition in the market. Now, I understand the fact that so many competitors have been having issues when it comes to Google. Yeah. First of all, Google was taken to court and was forced to share their personal data with other competitions that are coming up, and now they are being forced to sell their ad space too. I wonder what's next they'll be selling, because if based on the current news, we hear that iPhone has its own search bar now, and iPhone having its own search bar and being able to search beyond using Google, and because of the fact that Google provides some data for these competitions and all of that. Now we hear that ad. Before we're having an issue with iPhone having a search bar, that means people won't be able to advertise the way they used to advertise on Google. Now Google is forced to not just share data, but also share their ad space for competitions. But my question is, for Google, let's say Google got to this extent, build yourself and get to that extent, become a real competition in the market so that the monopoly can drop, instead of always rushing to court and allowing the court always trying to threaten Google to sell one way or the other.
But was they necessarily have to force Google to sell?
Okay, so I understand the fact that monopoly in the market is not good because of its price and the rest. The prices of these ads online and everything. I understand the fact that they're trying to move it from a monopoly market, but still saying that Google should keep sharing these spaces releases data, and I think that's the major reason why we are being concerned about these particular steps that are being taken. When data is being shared, of course, there's every possibility that there's an easier access for cyber crimes and the rest of it.
But I feel with this coming to play, there's going to be room for transparency. What do you think about that? In the sense that it can shed light to how digital marketing or advertising can also work. So there's going to be a level of transparency whereby even the disadvantage can be smaller in business, because them trying to run ads, giving that room for businesses to share their advertisements, to promote their sales and all of that. There's going to be a level of transparency. But at the same time, let's get to find out what the final outcome will be, if they will eventually get their space that they're looking for.
Like I said, it's not. We understand what you're trying to do, breaking the monopolistic market, but still we're being concerned about the data of people, businesses that will be shared. Because of course, if you open it, if Google is being forced to share their space, beyond their space, the datas, of course, it's an easy access. The whole security doesn't just lie on Google itself alone anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And if the security, how sure are we that the other, will I say, the other competitions can securely, will I say, in a safe way, secure the data of these ad companies and the rest?
Well, let's just wait for the final outcome, or whatever it may be.
Like he said, let's wait for the final outcome. Okay, so the next tech news, we see that Magnum ice cream taps AI to create healthier, sustainable treats. Now, this is a very, very beautiful story. We see that ice cream brands have gone beyond. You know, I love the fact that we keep saying this, that AI has started tapping into every sector. Even the agriculture. Yes, we know that AI has been tapping into the agricultural sector, but this is going beyond creating machines that can help make your work faster. This is creating machines that can help, will I say, monitor the food content that consumers get. And this is beautiful. Beyond normal food content, we're seeing ice cream. So to all ice cream lovers, Magnum, the ice cream brand owned by the Unilever, is preparing for public listening in November. As announced, the plan is using artificial intelligence from a startup, Netco, to reformulate its product and develop new ones to move, aim, and reduce calories, create plant-based options, and address rising cost of ingredients such as cocoa. Company's executive says consumers still want indulgent dessert but are increasingly seeking smaller portions and more sustainable products. Now, Magnum, which also oversees popular brands like Ben & Jerry and Cornetto, joins a growing list of global food marketers partnering with Notco to keep pace with shifting taste and economic pressures. This is what is happening. We said the Magnum ice cream brand is preparing to go public in November 2025. Now, it's partnering with Notco, which, of course, other people have been partnering with. And they are trying to set up an artificial intelligence that can monitor the content of the ice cream that is being sold. I like the fact that, coming from a health point of view, this actually
good
a benefit.
It's an advantageous stuff.
It's a benefit. It's a win-win because, of course, when you reduce calories in ice cream, it helps it healthier, develop plant-based versions. So your ice cream, beyond the fact that it's a dessert, it's more, how will I say, a dessert that is healthy.
Yes, because we know that too much of everything is not good.
Of course, so sugar and the rest.
Exactly. So with the application of this artificial intelligence, rather, I believe it can, to an extent, regulate the amount of, some of these ingredients that they use to prepare most of their stuffs. Because I am sure that they deliver to different age range. Yeah, so the kind of sugar, I'm using sugar because it's more like the primary ingredient for ice cream that we're looking into. So the kind of sugar level that is befitting for a 5-year-old child, definitely, the ice cream is in their category. And definitely there are some adults too that love ice cream. So I believe with this application of AI, it can, to an extent, regulate the levels of the ingredients, because as you earlier mentioned, cocoa was inside. Yes. Cocoa was listed. So there are other things that can be mentioned, other ingredients that the AI can predict that. Because remember, we talked about the prediction of AI about blindness yesterday. So I see AI as a good tool for prediction. Yeah. Can you also predict scores for those that play the bets? We'll
get there. I feel like AI will get there.
So, okay, I think we'll have to wait to
start predicting scores.
To start predicting scores. So you just have to subscribe to a particular bot, BOT, right? That's the bot. Then you can now go ahead to play your game, and you might not hear my ticket cut.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But so I don't think that's possible. But like you said,
this is AI. Did we ever think of something like this before, like 5 years ago?
No,
we didn't think of this. So let's see and speed that. In 5 years' time, there are a lot of things that will come up that it's going to be mind blowing. Just of yesterday, I discovered one that was just invented, Neuralink. that's just a chip that's
Yeah.
implanted to the head.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk about that later when the time comes.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, the most interesting part of this particular story is the fact that there's going to be reduction of sugar. But I want to talk about the consumers. You know, the reason why children really like ice cream is because of the fact that it's sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
So if you're removing and taking away these calories and sugar, what do you replace it with? Will ice cream still remain ice cream?
No, I didn't see. I'm not sure they will have to remove it because that's more like the basic ingredient. There's just going to be a level of reduction or a level of modulation where they are going. The air is going to modulate it in a way that's going to be suitable for their health and their cells in a way that is not going to be too much to harm or affect them.
Well, I want to see what Netco has to do with Magnus ice cream. After all, we've seen their work with the rest, like the Kraft hens, as well as cheese and moyo and other food industries. Yeah. So we'll be diving into our newspaper in full. We see the Daily Trust newspaper front page that women's seat bills gain ground. We also see that DSS interrogates Malami over attack on his convoy, and FCTA clears kidnappers' hideouts in Abuja. We also see that Dambele crowned at 2025 Ballon d'Or Awards. We also see that Benue attack, corpses of 8 missing policemen recovered. Now to a particular full story of the women's seat bill ground gain. That's a very like interesting story. I think yesterday we were talking about the same issue about women having dominance in Nigerian every Nigerian activities and sector to help growth and remove this gender biased mentality from people. And of course, we've agreed, we came to an agreement yesterday that women are doing things. Women have gone beyond the kitchen, the cooking food, recipes. Now they are going into politics and they're going into tech and they're going into sports. And they're even doing better than the men. In quotes, but I don't want to dive into that.
There's a million here, so let's be on the surface level.
We see that there's a right now in Nigeria that every few women are in the government. Less than 5% of seats in National Assembly is held by a woman. To fix this, a new bill is being discussed and will create a special seat reserved for only women in both Senate and House of Representatives, as well as the state assemblies. We see that this idea is not to take away existing seats, but to add an extra one so that women can be guaranteed for voice making in laws. Supporters include the Speaker of House, the United Nations, the UK, the European Union, and the Women's Group. They say this will help Nigerian democracy and would help for a balanced and fair democratic Nigerian governance. They started pointing out countries like Rwanda, South Africa with similar steps that have allowed women to contribute more to leading a stronger policy and peace in faster development. Like I said, this is very beautiful and it's very true.
Yes,
we've left the Stone Age where women were only sitting in the kitchen. We are now in an age where there's no more gender. There's no gender bias or gender discrimination when it comes to, let's say, development.
And dominance in sectors.
When it comes to idea development and every other thing. And of course, if women also have idea, well, human beings, of course, we can think. And if we have idea, we should be given the opportunity to be able to make known those ideas. I think one of the Idea Morning Digest, we're talking about a woman that first in Africa sat on an MD seat for School of Nursing. I've forgotten a particular this thing, but the way they described it was making it look like the gender was out loud. The fact that she's a woman is the fact that's what made it a historical breaking. Now we want to go beyond it being a gender based. We want to see you just mention somebody's name. She's the first that came out, not mentioning a gender, that the gender is the reason why she is more, or will I say that's a groundbreaking history and all of that. But like you said, we always say, want to see Nigerians allowing
Definitely.
women.
I just don't want the fact that culture has really bounded us to that mentality that women's place is only in the kitchen. If you just have to come out, put ourselves out there. If you hear some women speak, they are perfect peace negotiators. Like when it comes to settling disputes, they are excellent. So why not we put them in that spotlight? Because I know for a fact that this, if we leave this for a very long time, it will keep affecting generation to generation, and everybody thinks a woman don't have a place in politics, in power, and all of that. But if we have the ladies we have today coming out, I am sure for a fact that they're going to pave way for other ladies to come in. So since we are starting with that, I mean, it's going to be a big win for ladies, not just sitting down, feeling it's all about housewife and the kitchen. No, they should come out, speak. They should be in the Senate House. They should be, because when you are talking about leadership, they're also good there. Because if you are talking about different perspective, diverse perspective, they can bring it in and include fairness when you have to do with government rather. So this should be a big win for ladies as they begin to come in and
on the
take
lighter
dominance.
note, we know that women are better managers, but that's like on the lighter note. So we want to see what the women will be doing with so many of our seats in the House of Representatives as well as the Senate House. Okay, we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll be diving into all the stories on our newspaper front page.
Internet of Things, IoT. The Internet of Things, IoT, is all about creating a connected network of physical devices, from smart refrigerators to industrial sensors that collect and exchange data. IoT applications are driving efficiency in industries like healthcare, manufacturing, and transportation, but security vulnerabilities are a growing issue. With more devices getting connected, cyber attacks targeting IoT systems have surged. Despite these challenges, the IoT market is forecasted to reach $1.6 trillion by 2025, making it a pivotal technology. Augmented Connected Workforce. The Augmented Connected Workforce leverages remote collaboration tools, AI insights, and wearable devices to enhance productivity. This trend is especially relevant in the era of hybrid work models where teams need to collaborate from different locations. Tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams have become essential for communication, while wearable tech monitors worker health and safety. However, companies must balance employee privacy with performance tracking to avoid ethical concerns. The workforce management tools market is forecasted to grow to $9.3 billion by 2026. There you have it, the 20 game-changing technology trends shaping the future as we speak.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. We're looking at the Daily Times newspaper first. Oh, sorry, the Daily Times newspaper, yes, next. And the front page, we see that 700,000 out of school, Gombe government to jail parents for failure to enroll children. That particular story would come back to it. Emergency rule timely invention, says Fabera after visiting Tinubu in page 5. And the big headline, we see that no visa for corrupt Nigerian official, U.S. government warns in page 2. We see that Uber contributes 34 billion naira to Nigerian's economy, report has come out to say in page 2. And we also see in page 8 that Tinubu reaffirms commitment to constitutional reforms. We also see in page 6 that summit payment record of contractors, rep tells the accountant general. And in page 7 that NLNG's $10 billion train. 7 project resumes after workers' protest end. We also see that 68 innominate excels in 2025 NECO exam in Kano. NECOS has come out to say in page 13 of that newspaper. Now back to our story of the 700,000 out of school Gombe government jail parents for failure to enroll children. It's an interesting story, yes. I think this is a very, very good policy when it comes to children and enrollment, when it comes to education in Nigeria. Education in Nigeria, like, I don't want to focus on every other sector, but has a big issue. We are having a very, very big issue when it comes to education in Nigeria. And, you know, when you look at revolved countries like the US, and you have children, you can't have children running on the streets and no guardian or guidance with children not going to school. As a guardian, you should be able to send your children to school. That's the idea, or the government will be forced to take these children away from you. Now, we still see so many children in Nigeria, in different states. I don't even want to look at Gombe as a point or a particular state as a point of view. But I want to make the whole of Nigeria and Africa as a whole as a point of view. We want to come to a situation where we see that there will be no children left on the street, littering the street, because of their inability to fix those children in schools. I want to see the point where government will start bringing up policies that can take care of children on the streets. When I saw this, that's where my mind went to first. Beggars, children on the streets, children that are forced to beg on the street. Can we remove those ones? Because if we must tackle education, we must always take it from the grassroots. Yes, we know that our educational system is not yet to that extent where we want it, but can we start from removing these children from the street and trying to help them, or making sure that their guidance or anybody that oversees the care of these particular children, make sure that those people put these children in schools? And can schools be made available for these children, where you don't need to spend, because that's another problem.
So the thing my mind was first drawn to when I saw this news was that I love the fact that they are addressing the parents. It's not even sponsors at first, because parents is more like the first head of a child, right? And a parent, I am sure, will not intentionally leave or refuse their children, their kids from going to school. So there should definitely be a reason. Because even looking at the instruction from Gombe government, there's even going to be a fee, or imprisonment. So if they don't have the money to sponsor these children to school, where did they now? And I'm sure it's not a cheap amount of money. It's going to be very expensive. So how are they going to even see the money to even pay for the bail of, So I think tackling the problem from the grassroots, just as you said, is what the government needs to do first, because no parent in his right sense or right frame of mind, even if you didn't go to school, we have a lot of them in the street now. They know they were not privileged to go to school, but they will make sure they go through thick and thin to make sure that their own children go to school. Then if there is a question mark there, you'll find out that it is not easy for them. So what does the government has to do about this? Is there a means to provide jobs? Is there a means to provide funds?
I don't even want to look at that point of view where you create job. Yes, of course, a time will come you need job opportunities. But when it comes to these schools and for these children, if you would charge parents for failure to enroll children, you should make provision for enrollment for these children in schools that can be affordable, or even possibly just take or create schools that don't need funding, but because of these children, so that they can go to school free of charge. Before, education was free before in Nigeria. When it comes to governmental education,
yes,
it was free.
Yes.
So I don't know. How did we get to this point?
It's really small, but now the question is, how did we get here? How did we get here? But
you see universities almost paying 100 plus. It's
government.
They're trying to drag with some private at this point.
And we also want to call upon individuals, because there was something that I discovered last week through the news, and I was really happy with it. That's in person of Adeleke, that's Mr. Adeleke, that's the father of Nigeria's prominent singer Davido Adeleke. He was able to support Osun State's education system with a whooping sum of 100 million.
Those are people that believe in Nigerian, that still believe in Nigerians' education. But how many can we get? And of course, like I said, if the government is not doing it, we should come out and help these children.
Actually, yes.
It's going beyond jailing their parents for fear of enrolling these students, but these children, but also being able to provide schools that are affordable for these parents to be able to enroll their children. Then you can now punish them for not being able to enroll those children.
Yes. One step at a time.
So our head story, a very big slap. A very, very big slap on the Nigerians' face. No visa for corrupt Nigerian officials. The U.S. government has won in page 2. We said that the United States has announced that the corrupt Nigerian officials and other high-profile individuals are found guilty of corruption and will be denied entry visas. The U.S. mission in Nigeria emphasizes that the measure is part of the ongoing global effort to tackle corruption without respect of borders or social status. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom reform, UK has unveiled a new immigration policy that would end the rights of immigrants to secure permanent settlements after 5 years. If implemented, this plan will abolish indefinite leaves to remain and replace it with the system reoccurring migrants to reapply for visas under stricter conditions, including higher salary threshold as well as English standard. Now, my major focus is on the U.S. mission for Nigerian announcements to corrupt Nigerian officials and visas. On one face, you are looking at this as a good reform to, will I say, push Nigerian officials to stay away from corruption or abstain. But on the other face, this is like a slap on the face.
It's a two-edged sword, though.
It's a slap. It's a big slap for US to proudly. This paints an international image.
On Nigeria.
On Nigeria, and it just shows that they are trying to pinpoint, and it was the fact that it was so specific that Nigerian officials. It shows that they've come to that extent that they believe that all Nigerian officials, most problem when it comes to Nigerian officials is corruption. The most prominent problem in Nigeria is corruption. I think something like that. They now, for them to mention officials, they now believe that it's the officials that's from the head. Thank you, like you said, that this corruption is actually affecting, or it's not even just with the citizen. They're not even going beyond student visas, corruption, and all of that.
You know, it was last week they talked about the fraudulent boys, which is the Yahoo. It was still Nigeria they were pointing it to. So now they have gone beyond the boys, and now they are going to the head, saying that, and definitely if the head is the one that the finger is being pointed to, the whole system now is is written off on them already. But just as you said, it's a big slap on our face, because before every other country, US comes out to say that they will deny us entry. I think we need to sit up, because this is just to hold power accountable. Media is speaking now. International media is also carrying this. We just need to sit up and make sure that transparency is held in high regard.
You know, this actually points down to the story on the front page of the Vanguard. This procurement of the federal government rejecting the U.S. report alleging a lack of transparency. Now, let's take a look at this particular story. We see that the federal government has dismissed the United States report alleging lack of transparency in the Nigerian public procurement process. The 2025 Fiscal Transparency Report by the U.S. Department of State placed Nigeria among the 69 countries that failed to meet the minimum standard, citing a poor disclosure of procurement contracts and weak independence of Auditor General Office. It acknowledged the progress in publishing budget and debt information, but flagged the gaps in accountability. Now, this report is about a disagreement between the United States and Nigeria over transparent government public procurement, how government award contracts, spend the money, manage resources. And I'm very sure this is coming from the various aids that we've been getting, the EU aids, the UN aids, and
World
all of
Bank.
that we've been receiving, and they've not been able to pinpoint a particular, will I say,
Innovation and
accountability
yes.
to how they've spent
the money.
this money. Now, like I said, I understand the fact that we're trying to uphold, or they're trying to bring these officials to be accountable,
Yes.
or hold them accountable. But still, it just shows how much corruption
As eating digital system.
and it's painting an international picture already, an image.
It's not
for
even within us again that we know that, okay, our government are not really accountable, our government are not really transparent and fair in terms of managing our resources. But now, US, it's a big slap on Nigerians' face.
I pray that we actually really look into this particular
Sure.
thing and make sure that transparency, because I think that's one of the major things we've been eating in Nigeria. We want to come to the next thing where transparency is very, very important. It's taking important. And every money given to or disbursed into your hand should be used for what it is disbursed,
Is
one,
meant for.
and the proper, transparent will I say setup of how this money was used. Because you know, when
Proper
you
reports.
use, the people will always talk, especially when things are not being used the right way. And if this is going out of Nigeria and becoming an international image, it has become a serious problem that we should actually look into as Nigerians, as officials, as our officials and our head, so that we do not paint will I say international image for our, will I say, not just even competitors, but also people who would want to do business with us. They won't paint it as Nigeria is a corrupt country and all of that. Let's stand by what we say we are. Let's be transparent. The giant of Africa that we are. Let's be the giants, not in corruption and every other thing.
That's
now
right.
we'll be moving to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We see that Senator divided over Natasha resumption. We also see beside it that Nigerian GDP expands by 4.23% in page 6 of that newspaper. We also see the big headline that Tinubu Fabara in father-son discussion in Aso Rock, page 3. Government seeks guidance to how to avoid further crisis in rivers and reinstate peace with Wike. We also see bodies of 8 missing policemen recovered in Benue State as gunmen killed APC chieftain. And page 26. We also see 4% of FOB levy LCCI expresses concern over enforcement despite federal government suspension and calls for policy clarity. In health, we see that inhaling marijuana increases risk of asthma attack by 44%. Study has come out to say in page 5. In page 3, we see the U.S. threatened visa ban on corrupt Nigerian leaders. And in page 4, Nigeria loses $18 billion to fiscal crimes yearly, Abbas comes out to say. We see that court fixes September 29 to hear Osun government motion on withheld local government fund in page 5 of that newspaper. And moving to the Nation newspaper, front page we see the House pushes for State Policy Council in page 3, autonomy as well as others. We also see that oil, agriculture, industries drive GDP's 4.23% growth. We see that El-Rufai's life president claims absorb says presidency in page 2, and court fixes more to hear case on withheld Osun Council fund in page 5. We also see that there's a appreciation and goodwill message. We also see that that Fabara, I have made peace with Wike. He comes. And the last newspaper front page is the Guardian newspaper front page, where 24 states back pedal on electricity demolition over tariff debt risk in page 6. We say enroll children in school, several jail terms, Gombe government tells parents in page 29. And gunman kills Benue APC chieftain, adopts district head of in Plateau in page 20. We also see the constitution alteration. Tinubu Akpabio Abbas declares support for women reserved seat bill in page 6. Tension in Edo State local government as acting chairman receives implement notice in page 29. And in that same page 29, we see that Rivers stakeholders calls for probe as IBA 6 months administration. And Natasha trials state all women groups petition in United Nations. I so much love this particular woman. But anyway, we've come to a close of our newspaper review on Idea Television. We looked at different newspaper front page as well as our tech news on the ice cream reduction of sugar by
just trying to tap into AI to create healthier and sustainable treats, regardless of maybe just trying to modify it. And
we also looked at the techniques of Google facing another antitrust over online advertising monopoly. And do well to follow us on all social media platforms as well as Idea Television on our YouTube page, and subscribe so that you can see programs like this when they come up, as well as do stay to your screen for more programs that will be coming after now. The Idea Money Digest will be coming after. I am Jacobs Deborah, and with me was
Samuel Odemi.
Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay safe. Bye for now.